Hey everybody, welcome to Too Old for Comics. I'm Steve,
And I'm Mike.
and today we're going to talk about, I think last week or maybe before that, the latest issue of Venom. There was a little bit of a controversy with writer Donny Cates, who I guess has made some pretty significant changes in the book, and it kind of,
He actually fixed the character from dying all the time, and Eddie Brock always having cancer, basically. And why we're talking about this is it's not because of the story change of his origin, not even so much origin. You know, it's the fact that Venom, Donny Cates, writer Venom, is getting death threats over
he,
something that fixes the character from not dying.
yeah, I mean, he made some pretty sweeping changes, and I guess it's kind of invoked what I guess now has been commonly referred to now as toxic fandom. Things like death threats and just harassment online, I guess. And we'll talk about that a little bit. That kind of turns to a bigger conversation we'll talk about after we kind of go over what's going on in the Venom thing. Um, Me and Mike have both been reading the book. This is the first time I've read Venom in probably about like 20 years. Since the 90s, Lethal Protector days with Mark Bagley.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, aside from Venom being a major Spider-Man villain, he was in a few issues of Amazing Spider-Man, a few story arcs.
He had his time,
Yeah,
so when he went away in the late 90s, I was like, see ya.
yeah, yeah. We had a bunch of really awful Venom miniseries, and which is now this book is the newest book is they put that all together into a legacy. So there's been 176 Venom
Oh, you didn't
issues.
like the madness? You didn't like Venom the
Oh
Madness?
God, no, one with the Juggernaut and anyways,
So Venom's there's a movie came out recently.
yes,
So Venom's kind of like having a renaissance right now, like a resurgence. Donny Cates is one of the premier writers at Marvel right now. He's kind of like filling the void left by
yeah,
Bendis,
him
I
and
guess.
Colin Bunn kind of brought Venom back into the forefront.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, I think what really started, and we touched upon this in our Dan Slott Spider-Man episode. Dan Slott kind of helped co-create the Flash Thompson Venom,
yep.
which I find was far more superior book than the current Eddie Brock Venom book.
That kind of revamped Venom a little
It
bit
did.
From obscurity, which he was kind of in from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Um,
This the current book with segment on it and Donny Cates. It's basically just a revamped
Back
same
to
old
basics.
story. Yeah, back to basics, same old Eddie Brock story, but better written.
Yeah, Donny Cates is a really good writer. He's kind of like he's on the same age range as me and Mike.
Mm.
He grew up in the '90s, grew up in all those McFarlane issues, all that kind of stuff. So he's a lot of stuff he writes is right now wheelhouse, like Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah, he wants to bring back the Ultimate Universe, kind of
Yeah.
reboot it, a little mini reboot on it.
I guess he's like a really big Spider-Man fan too. But this is kind of like, I mean, Spencer took over Spider-Man, so this is kind of like, I bet you when Spencer leaves the book, I bet you Donny Cates will take over.
Hey, if he can get on the book with the quality he's doing on, provided he doesn't do any minor small changes. And I'm being sarcastic. It might be kind of hard to tell. I'm still getting over my cold, but so that he doesn't require any death threats.
So this is what Donny Cates did, I guess. From the very first, well, I'll kind of go over the whole series, but he said the major change he made right now is basically the symbiote has been manipulating Eddie Brock for like since the beginning, pretty much. Eddie Brock, if you guys don't know, in the comics had cancer. He had family members who had cancer, and basically that caused him to like have kind of like a moral. He basically sold his symbiote. And like and Matt Gargan ended up getting it during the Civil War era, Dark Reign era. He had kind of like a change of heart, something like that. Became like a more of a hero, anti-Venom, because of his cancer ended up getting cured or went to remission, whatever. But basically, what Donny Cates had done is kind of retcon the thing, so the symbiote lied to him about the cancer. It's made him think he did, made him think his family members had cancer.
Yep.
Erased parts of his memory.
And he made it also seem like he had family members when he didn't have them at all, like a sister and an uncle.
So basically, Eddie Brock, everything you know about Eddie Brock is like in flux right now. Like you don't know what's real, what's not. And so apparently fans have just lost their minds over it. Started sending Donny Cates death threats apparently, which I mean, Cates seems to be kind of taking in stride, where he's like, I'm still going forward with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which I mean, Donny Cates has been on record saying he's like he can tell he's seen some shit in his life. Like he's been very open about dealing with like substance abuse and like with drugs and alcohol. So I think like for me myself, someone who's dealt with like their own personal demons, like you kind of have a thick skin when it comes to kind of this kind of stuff. So I mean, like good on him.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times these are just like keyboard tough guys anyway.
And let's unpack this for a second. Let's really unpack this. I might go off on a tirade, so Steve, please stop me. I'm not gonna go on a big one, but so let's really unpack this. People are getting upset over Venom.
Yeah.
Over a minor change that's keeping their Eddie Brock alive.
Yeah.
He doesn't have cancer anymore. They get rid of that. I'd be like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Why would I send him a death threat for fixing the character from dying? Like you love the character so much, you want him to keep having cancer and not die, and they have to die. I mean, Venom fans are fucking wackos.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Here's like, I mean, being a psychopath and like sending a death threat to somebody aside, like Venom.
Yeah.
Like this is the character. Like you're willing to like say like it gets traced back to you. They trace your IP address and like you end up going to jail over this thing. And like you're for like like threatening somebody's life.
Yeah, they take that shit seriously.
So you go to jail and like, what do you say to like what are you in for? Oh, I didn't like the direction of the Venom comic book.
You will be someone's bitch.
So you're getting ass raped in the shower room because you didn't like the direction the current writer of Venom comic book.
No individual whatsoever, whether it's Star Wars, when Dan Slott got his death threats because of Superior Spider-Man, no one should get death threats. But come on, for Venom, this is ridiculous.
It's like and that kind of like, I mean, this is gonna kind of open up a different, a bigger discussion about like the toxic fandom, I guess, that I guess now is being covered in the media more. It's kind of like been brought to light. The only time in comic books, I mean, like I remember like Ron Mars from the Green Lantern book when he killed Hal Jordan.
Yeah,
they had like a whole like like petition and like a group like set against like set to like get Hal Jordan back, sending him death threats, like and all kinds of crazy nonsense.
And that was before the internet, where he was getting freaking just letters or fan mail and shit. And like, I mean, all I gotta say is, if as a writer for myself, if I'm gonna get death threats, I'd rather be for a major character. Venom is not a major character. He's a major Spider-Man villain, but he's not a major character.
If I were to get death threats, I'd rather be something I did rather than like a fictional character, like Ben Affleck and like Jane Silent Bob. These are fictional characters; they're not real.
Yeah,
I mean, it's and then the thing is, like let's talk about toxic fandom for one thing. Like it goes from like comic books, like movies, all kinds of culture right now. Ever since like geek culture went mainstream, and like it's not getting covered by like media outlets, like people like the whole. We'll talk about like Ghostbusters 2016 and like The Last Jedi. Those were like the big ones that kind of got a lot of coverage.
And well, the biggest thing is the biggest. It seems like the biggest thing in the culture now is the fandom does not like powerful women.
See, I think that's a narrative that's created by the media. Because I mean, I don't think anybody has a problem with powerful women.
Yeah.
We'll stop and just talk about Ghostbusters. I remember when the female Ghostbusters idea was brought up long before the movie ever came out. This is like in the early 2000s where they were like, "Hey, obviously Bill Murray doesn't want to do this movie. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna do a new Ghostbusters." And so they started shopping around the idea for like a female Ghostbusters, and they threw around names like Rashida Jones and Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds fucking great," because that would have been a well cast movie. But the media, not only was the movie horribly miscast by people like
Jenny McCarthy.
Not Jenny McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy, their cousin, yes. Yeah.
They're really cousins?
I think so, yeah.
Huh. Oh. I have to let that soak in for a second.
Yeah.
But I mean, so then when the movie came out, no one really, I didn't have a problem with it at all. I'm like, cool. I hope.
I didn't really have a problem. I saw bits and pieces of it. The only issue I had with
You didn't watch it at all?
I watched bits and pieces when I was on vacation and it was raining out.
Chris Hemsworth is hilarious in it.
He is. He's the best part. I think that it was because it was a reboot of the original, where it should have just been, which I thought it was going to be a reboot, but I thought it was going to be because a lot of it was filmed here in Boston, So I thought that it would just be like the Boston chapter of the Ghostbusters.
That would have been cool.
Or at first I thought it might have been their daughters, which would have been even better. It could have been Ghostbusters 3, but it's their family members, it's their daughters.
That would have been fine too, as long as you like pay homage to like the original. But the thing is, I don't even care if it's a reboot. If you want to make the female Ghostbusters, the thing is, I remember like I used to, when like you get like a magazine in the mail. Like I used to get Entertainment Weekly in the mail constantly, even though like I didn't want it.
Yeah.
But like the narrative was basically like if you don't like this movie, then like you hate women. And like rather than like anybody clear the air and say no, that's not what this is about. It's just like it's like it's a female empowerment movie. Awesome. I hope it works out. I think that like young ladies and young girls need more like empowered females like in films. But the thing is like just making it so you're either on one side or the other. That's what kind of created the whole like rift with like the supposed toxic fans and like
See, I think is you get the toxic fans, you got the fans that are like, well, okay, I think it's great that they're doing this, but don't cast me as sexist or a racist, like if it's not the, if you're sex changing or race changing, and I say, oh, that's not who the character is, like then I'm considered a racist. Like, well, no, like in the comic books, it's not how it is.
Just be respectful, both ends. Like, I mean, like as far as like this being a whole new thing that's just brought up now, this to me is just old hat. I mean, I've been a comic book fan as far as I can tell from when I was a kid. I've always been into like toys and comic books and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, there's been times in my life where I've been like in the closet about it, where I haven't been like an open geek about it. So,
my high school years.
So I mean, to me, like when they're like, oh, as it turns out, comic fans can be can be assholes, and it's like, yeah, no shit. Like it's always been this way. They just never had a platform to like express it.
Yeah, we have Facebook and Instagram and all that shit now. They have their platform to go out and bitch and
and the thing I think what it is people have a hard time separating their cyber reality from like real reality now. Like before, like we spend so much time on apps like Twitter and Facebook, and so you have like these like this like cyber personality, like a social media personality, where it's like you post only the good stuff. You'll post pictures of like you at like at the bar, like with your arms around like your friends and like having a good time. You don't post a picture of like you getting overserved at Cactus Jack's and like falling down and shitting your pants, like you get like so it's like now. So we spend so much time on those apps that now it's like the line's blurred between like what being an internet tough guy on social media and being an internet tough guy in real life, and like so I don't know, it just creates this weird like relationship like now like between like, what's real and what's not.
Going online and being an internet tough guy and having like actresses, the one from Star Wars deleting her Instagram account and
which that's stuff right there that turns out not even true. Like she just goes stressed out by like like all these questions and everything, and the same thing with Daisy Ridley and stuff like that, and
you can't blame, to go on the Star Wars thing, you can't blame the actresses and actors from them because they just read the script. Like this is a lifetime opportunity, lifetime opportunity for them to be on Star Wars.
Yeah,
and I would love to be on a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I would pass it up. I wouldn't pass it up. And like, you get mad at the actors and actresses and whatnot when they're not the problem.
No.
I saw The Last Jedi twice. I know, twice. And it was a terrible movie. It had nothing to do with any of the actors or actresses. Yeah. It was just a terrible movie. It was like Rian Johnson just decided to do his own fucking movie and only did one plot line from the Force Awakens, Rey's parents, it seems like.
And he doesn't handle things the right way either. Like, I mean, he just reacts to the fans like, you're trolls. I mean, which, granted, yeah, of course some of them are. I mean, a lot of them are. Yeah. I mean, you gotta realize, like, be an adult and realize that the internet's full of a bunch of assholes and you can't attack, like, you can't, when someone says, like, fuck you, as a professional and adult, you can't say no, fuck you. Yeah. Like you have to like, you know what? Why are you saying fuck you to me? Like what did I do? And then like have a discussion and be like, you know what? Maybe I didn't make the movie that you guys wanted. Don't say like, no, you just don't understand it, or like you're just like a misogynist, or you're just like a homophobe. Like there's a reason why people don't troll Joel Schumacher. He made a horrible. Like, he'll just be like, yeah, I made a shitty friggin' Batman movie. Sorry, like but and like he gets a pass because he also made cool movies too, like Time to Kill and Lost Boys and Falling Down.
But the thing is, you want to go on and you want to troll as they were doing on Captain Marvel. So you want to try and ruin a movie. So what? So what if the studio is like, you know what? Or the actor's like, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. I don't want to get trolled.
All you're gonna do is stop these movies from getting made.
Yeah, and I know me and you have discussed before, like how you kind of get into superhero fatigue with the superhero movies.
Yeah.
I want to keep seeing. I know you want to keep seeing the movies, but I think at a slower pace, which is I understand that part. I want to keep seeing Star Wars movies. I want to keep seeing these superhero movies because they're great outlets for us to go watch a movie and to escape. And
there's a reason why Ben Affleck's not Batman anymore. It's not because he couldn't figure out a bad script. It's not because like he didn't want. It's because he didn't want to deal with the bullshit.
Yeah,
like who would? You know what I mean?
And that's the problem. You want to ruin it so much, so you want to get the character. These trolls want the character to be their way or exactly like the comic books. Listen, if it's exactly like the comic books, it's not gonna fucking work.
And I've had this conversation with people we know. It's with that, like, where like Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and it's like, do you really want the comic book version of Wolverine, like a yellow and blue, like spandex? Like,
that would look horrible.
It looks stupid. Yeah. But I mean, the other thing too is like, I like if I want the comics, I'll read the comics. I want something new in the movies.
Yeah.
Do you think a lot of this has to do with like gatekeeping? Like you know what I mean when I say gatekeeping, or
no.
like a lot of and I think we've talked about before, like on Facebook pages and stuff, where you have like the old guard of like comic book fans, and like they don't feel like other people have earned their fandom. Where it's like, we've been reading comic books, like collecting all these comic books, and then you have somebody who just like, Wikipedia is all the knowledge, or Google's all the knowledge, and it's like, oh, I'm a comic book fan too because I've watched like the Avengers movies.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And like I think a lot of that is like, especially with Star Wars fans, a lot.
Yeah. The original Star Wars fans want the movies just to be like the fucking original 3.
I think comic book fans like that too.
Yeah, I think Marvel wants that too with their freaking Star Wars comic book. Come on, switch it up.
But I mean, while that's not healthy, the gatekeeping, it's kind of like it's not a lot of those people's fault. Like people our age, I think we can agree that when it comes to comics anyway, we're both gatekeepers.
Yeah.
Like it's like we feel like people who are like in their teens or 20s haven't like earned like their credit.
That's true.
I guess.
But for me, I understand though. I think we both understand that. In order for us to get our favorite superhero like Spider-Man on the big screen, there's gonna be some changes.
There's gonna be compromise.
Yeah, you can't have it exactly like the comic book because then it won't work.
Yeah,
plus they want to make money.
Well, the thing is too, like as far as like the directors and the creative people, you can't get mad at the gatekeepers too, because they weren't born that way. They were created.
Yeah.
Like as before geek culture was like chic and cool, before like Big Bang Theory and all that crap, like being a comic book fan, you
got made fun of.
You got made fun of. You got beat up, called a faggot, and and all this other stuff. Like, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't like hey, I like Spider-Man comics. It was like what the fuck is wrong?
I had to sneak my subscription notice to the copier in the library in school, so no one would fucking see me and make fun of me. I got made fun of as it is. I didn't need the extra bullying to go on with it.
So you deal with like a lifetime of this, and all of a sudden you're just also, oh yeah, everybody's welcome. It's like, no, like this is something I had to fight for to be a fan, and now you're telling me like anybody can join now. It's like when you guys probably don't remember this, but like record stores. I remember when those were the biggest gatekeepers of it all. I used to hate going to buy albums because you'd buy like Smashing Pumpkins, put it on the counter, and the guy wouldn't even even say something when you left. Like he'd be ringing the thing up and be like, "This band sucks," and you suck for liking them.
Yeah.
And we had, there's a whole generation of us who had to deal with that whole like culture.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to all of a sudden just oh, you have to break free from that now and accept like everybody's allowed to be involved in it now.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think a lot, especially Star Wars fans, like, you know,
Yes, I think Star Wars fans are the worst because like all these people who are big time Star Wars fans want a Boba Fett movie.
yeah,
Who the fuck cares about Boba Fett?
I know.
I mean, yeah, great, okay, great. I didn't fucking read the novels with Boba Fett in it or
I
any
don't
of the
carry
comic
around an
books.
encyclopedia of
Yeah.
Star Wars.
So even with that, uh, none of that stuff's fucking canon anyway. So the general Star Wars audience that are seeing that movie are gonna be like, who the hell's Boba Fett? Boba Fett was in a fucking two movies for like maybe a total of 10 minutes. He shoots at Luke
Yep.
when he sees him in Empire Strikes Back, just trying to, Luke's sneaking around, finding out where Han is and whatnot, and shoots at him. Then he walks away with Han. He just stood there half the movie.
The only thing I know I know Star Wars from the movies, and that's it. I've gone on like message boards and like Facebook pages, and like I've been like, you know what the fuck you're talking about, because in like the extended universe and Dark Horse, like, you know,
The extended universe doesn't exist.
I'm like, I only know what the movies. So I've been a victim of like gatekeeping too.
But what's even worse, Boba Fett got defeated by a blind Han Solo.
But the thing is, I don't like get up in arms and start like, you know, screaming on Twitter. And this is something like the media who covers Ghostbusters and Last Jedi and Toxic Fandom and Captain Marvel need to realize and just kind of accept and move on, is that when it comes to like geeks and like nerds and fandom with Star Wars, comic books, anything, no one hates. I mean, no one. When it comes to Star Wars, no one hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans. Yeah. And when it comes to comics, like no one hates comics more than comic book fans.
Yeah.
Because you're always the guy who can do it better. You're always one who, I know how this should be done. Like, and you're doing it wrong. I don't want you to change it. I want it to be how it was when I was a kid. And like, it's just like,
I think for some of the comic book movies, they should have someone who's a fan of it. We can all attest to the Amazing Spider-Man movies. How I'm gonna go on record. I did like them. But there was so many things missing from those movies that could have made it better.
Yep. But I mean, I think what we can take is everybody just fucking relax. Like, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
like if you, I don't know, like when it comes to the Star Wars and Captain Marvel and I don't know, DC and stuff like that, let's enjoy something new and let other people experience it too. Like, you know,
in a market, in an industry that's not as strong as it used to be, where Marvel you were saying Marvel might give up their publishing rights, and Spider-Man can be bought out by someone else, and so and so and so and so. This is a way for our industry that we love and so passionate about to get bigger and stronger again. Yeah. So if you don't like these movies, don't fucking go see them.
Yeah.
If you don't like Captain Marvel, don't go see it, but don't go on fucking Rotten Tomatoes and ruin it for everyone else.
I don't complain about it because, like, as a comic book fan, growing up a Spider-Man fan as a kid, never in my wildest dreams that I ever never mind Infinity War, did I ever think a Spider-Man movie would ever be made ever in my lifetime. Yeah. And so, like, when I saw like the Raimi trilogy, this is as good as it's gonna get for me. Everything else on top, everything else is just gravy.
I saw Spider-Man 1 10 times in the movie theater.
I was in tears when I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
And in front of my girlfriend at the time and her parents, and I couldn't express why. But I mean, yeah, everybody relax. Like, the more the more of this shit, the better. Yeah. We all enjoy this stuff, and there's gonna be different interpretations. There's never gonna be the perfect. And but if you complain and you keep on acting like an idiot and saying you're gonna murder the guy who writes Venom because you don't like a thing you took away from a story you read one time, then they're gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, we're not making this shit anymore. Yeah. Because it's not worth it. And
if anything, the movies are keeping this alive.
Yeah.
I mean, we started off with Blade as one of the first. Batman and Superman, mind you, like Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeves, but what really kind of started it again was Blade. So we started with nothing.
Yep.
We had a somewhat okay
comic
book market. Spawn and
Steel. Steel's a movie got made, and then that was, and Warner Bros. Said, "Hey, take this and like it."
Yeah. So now we have something that's keeping something that we love and passionate alive, and you guys want to ruin it by trolling shit. And I mean, come on. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yep. Everybody calm down. If you don't, I mean, if you don't like Star Wars, then you know what? Maybe you should grow up and stop watching Star Wars. Yeah. Then, If you don't like Captain Marvel, just don't go see Captain Marvel, and everybody just calm the fuck down. Do you have anything else to add, Mike?
I really want to rail into these Venom fans, but I also really want subscribers to this channel, so I'm gonna keep my peace and say,
yeah, we're supposed to talk
I got
about the
nothing
Venom
to
movie. We actually plan on talking about the Venom movie, but we'll talk.
Yeah,
about
we can talk about it real quick. So we'll get it out of the way.
This is we did an episode. We didn't really do an episode. We just kind of ranted on Toxic Fandom. Real quick, let's do a tangent on Venom. Have you seen the Venom movie?
I saw it, and
how many times have you seen it?
Only once.
I've only seen it once too. I have a pretty good memory though.
Yeah.
So,
so basically, it felt what Sony's doing is they're making a Spider-Man less universe.
All right.
All right, cool. If that Venom movie was good, but it felt hollow without that Spider-Man origin.
Yeah.
I didn't like how they gave Venom Eddie Brock a happy ending at the end of the book. They it seemed like they're making him into a superhero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess so.
So that's what ruined it for me. It was not terrible.
I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that we don't have the white spider on his chest. I don't think we'll ever get that big white spider on the Venom chest or in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Somehow, for some reason, the fans love the black suit, Sam Raimi suit, which I just felt lazy and I hated it. But yeah, I guess Sony doing all these spin-offs of Spider-Man for Spider-Man Last Universe. I think if they're going down that route, Venom needs to be the Spider-Man of that universe.
Yeah.
Like if they're doing a Kraven's Last Hunt storyline, it needs to be Kraven somehow kills Venom, or kills him, buries him alive, and then he comes back. That's the only way that universe is gonna succeed, I think, in my opinion. But
I say do what you want. Spider-Man, nothing's ever gonna be better than Spider-Man 2 in my mind, anyway.
That's true.
So I mean, whatever.
Well, I mean, for me, I think Into the Spider-Verse kind of beats Spider-Man 2 as the best Spider-Man movie.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it might be nostalgia, kind of like making me say Spider-Man 2 is better, but I think it's neck and neck. I think it's apples and oranges though, because one's like, I mean, like you can do more stuff in the animated stuff than you can do in the live action.
Yeah.
As far as Venom goes, yeah, I've watched it once. The thing with Tom Hardy is that, I like Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, and I like how they're making Eddie Brock a reporter. I think like they're kind of like. But
so it seems like they got the Eddie Brock part of it right.
A little bit.
And they got the twisted back and forth Venom and Eddie talking type thing. They got that done right.
Yes.
So they did get a lot of things right, but it was just for me that it was just still that hollow existence. Like he doesn't have an existence to like hate Spider-Man. Well, there is no Spider-Man to hate, but
yeah,
I don't know. There was just that it just felt empty.
It's the thing with Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock. It's almost like a Mark Wahlberg in in Transformers, where it's like Mark Wahlberg puts the glasses on, and all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm a scientist now.
I'm a scientist that grew up in Texas but still has a New England accent.
He just wears like these tight fucking like douchebag t-shirts, and it's the same thing. Like like Tom Hardy like has like a notebook in his hand. I was like, oh, I'm a reporter now, and it's like really, because like he does that like interview with the guy in charge of Life Foundation.
Yeah, I feel like he took the role way too seriously.
And it's
Eddie Brock in general took the reporter role way too
and it's
seriously.
Like, what a horrible reporter you are! And he goes there and like he has as much subtlety as Godzilla. Like where he'll be like, the guy's like, hey, check out my building. He's like, oh, I really like your building. It's pretty cool. By the way, what's with all the bodies in the basement? And it's like, what? And it's like, I'm talking about the dead people you're killing. And it's like, what the fuck? And he goes back and he's like, sorry, I had to push the guy. And it's like, no, you rightfully so get fired because you're a horrible reporter. Yeah. Can you imagine someone doing that on TV? Like, going to who's somebody famous, like Bill Gates,
yeah,
and being like, hey, what's with like the pedophilia allegations, like out of nowhere, and like, what the fuck, that's the only thing I kind of had a problem with. I don't buy Tom Hardy as a reporter, but I mean, I don't know. Well, once now that they've made some money off that, they can put some more money into the sequel. And we'll see how it
and have
goes.
Woody Harrelson have actual red hair instead of a goofy wig.
Why does he need red hair? I mean,
Yeah.
is that like a defining thing with Cletus
He looks like a
Cassidy?
fucking clown.
He looks like Annie.
Yeah.
um,
Well, hopefully Woody Harrelson has a better acting ability in Carnage than he did in the fucking Han Solo movie.
just do the same character from Natural Born Killers, and you'll be all set. Yeah. You have anything else to add on Venom?
No, not really.
No?
Just, you know.
I think I was about to do it. We're a little longer than I thought we did. We're gonna, but yeah. So that's about it. Remember to like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you think. What a horrible episode.
Yeah, we'll get better at this.
We'll get better at this. Trust me. Bye bye.